This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. After being open for just 3 months, Summit City Climbing Company is already looking at expansion. The bouldering gym in downtown Fort Wayne offers 7 routes and 15-foot-tall walls, with new routes being added every week. But co-owner Edwin Chow says they just don't have enough space.
We want to run programs and we want to run clubs and clinics and just team competitions, but we're not able to because we're only 4,000 square feet, and we only have about 2,100 square feet of climbing, which is quite small. So we're just packed all the time. So we can't even host birthday parties during our operating hours because it's unfair to the members, it's unfair to the people that behave for day passes, and it's unfair for the event. Like, you don't get that much. Everyone's just competing for time on the walls.
The business is looking for a new location that's around 20,000 square feet and in the north part of Fort Wayne. A third former Indiana University men's basketball player has been added to a lawsuit alleging the university did nothing to stop repeated rectal exams the players received from former team physician Dr. Brad Bomba Sr., acts they say constituted sexual abuse. John Flowers, who played at IU from 1981 to 1982, has joined the complaint as an additional plaintiff. The lawsuit alleges that IU knew about ongoing sexual abuse and failed to act on this knowledge by systemically mishandling and turning a blind eye to players' complaints of Bomba's sexual assaults. A country store in the Allen County town of Grable appears ready to attract investors with a new filing to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Grable Country Sales has operated since 2010, serving as a bakery, deli, and specialty store featuring mostly Amish-made products. According to an SEC filing dated January 7th, Grable Country Sales consolidated with Grable Food Services to form a new entity, Grable Country Store. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
To succeed, you need to stay informed. You need to be engaged. And let's face it, you need to set yourself apart from the rest by connecting with a company that brings you the best. Because in today's environment, business is an ever-moving target, and we'll help you chase it. IBJ Media. The best of business is in us. Get started at ibjmedia.com/youngprofessional.
The Indiana Destination Development Corporation could soon have a few new tools to incentivize tourism opportunities throughout the state. IIB's Mark Mazurik has details.
House Bill 1223, authored by Representative Michael Karakoff of Kokomo, would provide a sales tax rebate to incentivize new builds or expand projects that would enhance tourism opportunities. Potential projects could include cultural or historical sites, recreational or entertainment facilities, themed restaurants, or lodging. Businesses that complete projects meeting certain requirements would be eligible for a sales tax incentive that would reimburse up to 25% of approved project costs over 10 years. The bill says businesses that complete projects meeting certain requirements would be eligible for a sales tax incentive that would reimburse up to 25% of costs over 10 years. Hotels and other lodgings could see a rebate of up to 50% over 20 years. The bill would also allow for the creation of tourism improvement districts so communities can evaluate and implement new tourism projects. A local unit of government could establish a district that would act as a vehicle to provide bonds or pursue a fee for existing businesses to fund improvements. The town or city would also need to hire a nonprofit district management association that would provide recommendations to improve tourism appeal and carry out improvement work. Similar funding frameworks exist to develop significant projects in other areas, such as a professional sports development area proposed for downtown Indianapolis last year. Under that arrangement, some state and local tax revenue generated by new developments would be placed in a fund that could be used to pay off bonds for projects. I'm Mark Mazurik for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Government inspectors documented unsanitary conditions at several Boar's Head deli meat plants, not just the factory that was shut down last year after a deadly outbreak of listeria poisoning. That's according to federal records. Newly released reports from Boar's Head plants in Newcastle, Indiana, Forest City, Arkansas, and Petersburg, Virginia, described multiple instances of meat and fat residue left on equipment and walls, dripping condensation falling on food, mold, insects, and other problems dating back roughly 6 years. Last May, one inspector documented general filth in a room at the Newcastle plant. Boar's Head officials said in an email Monday that the violations documented in the three factories, quote, do not meet our high standards. Trendy Minds founder Trevor Yeager is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.